Today's message is on the importance of being humble and why we struggle so hard with it. We live in a world where everyone is out for self. Society tells us we are not worthy or considered a somebody without a huge home, fancy car, and great paying job. We strive for these things constantly and compete with those around us to prove we are better. This is the rat race, the constant chasing of materialistic things, hoping that these things will eventually satisfy us. Yet we see time and time again the rat race is a trap. How many celebrities have we witnessed have everything we could ever desire, and they end up killing themselves? See, many of us will never complete the rat race to figure out it's a trap and a waste of time. If you've grown up in poverty like I have, or live an average life like majority of the population, you will trick yourself into believing, I just need more. After I get that position, I will be happy. After I get married, I will be happy. Maybe I'm not happy because I don't have a jet or a boat. And since you will never get a jet or a boat, you can never test this theory. I was stuck in this mentality, trying to prove myself to my family and friends, just to realize it was never enough. We can learn from those who had everything and more and became suicidal. There's a lesson to learn there. See, they had it all and still felt empty. But by the time they realized the truth, it was too late. And then they felt like life was purposeless. What's the purpose? I have everything I desire and I still feel empty. Maybe I just shouldn't be alive. And there goes the results. The truth is, only Jesus Christ can fill the void. As we set up on our own path for success, this path leads us further from God. God wants us to rely on Him. He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. He knows all. So God knows that this path of greed and materialism will not make you happy. He has a plan for each and every one of our lives. The world teaches us to pave our own way, to push ourselves to succeed. God's plan for us is better. We just must trust in His will. The world pushes messages of follow your heart or do what thou wilt. Satan wants us to follow our own desires. He wants us to get trapped in the rat race, never being truly satisfied. Jesus was an example of how we should live on earth. He trusted in God's will even when that meant being crucified, mocked, and whipped. He was selfless. Jesus Christ was tempted in the wilderness by Satan. In Matthew 4, verse 8 through 9, Satan leads Jesus up on a high mountain and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. Jesus rebuked him and did not entertain this offer. Had Jesus been selfish and chose to live it up on earth, we would all be bound. But Jesus was selfless and trusted in God's will and plan for his life, even though it looked horrible. Imagine choosing between being worshipped as a king, living in luxury on the earth, or being whipped, mocked, and hung on a cross. Many of us would say that choice is a no-brainer. We would choose the luxury. I am personally glad Jesus was not like us. Instead, he chose pain in order to bring freedom to us all. Philippians 2 verse 3 says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." Jesus viewed us as more significant than just his personal life, and he died for us. Jesus also displayed a humble character. The creator of the universe made a plan to come down to earth in human form to save us. He could have had Jesus been born to a wealthy family. But no, God chose Mary and Joseph. Mary and Joseph were poor. In Luke 2 verse 24, they offered a pair of doves or pigeons for sacrifice, which was an offering for the poor. Leviticus 12 verse 8 specified that this was the offering allowed for those too poor to afford a lamb. In Luke 2 verse 7, Mary gives birth to Jesus in a manger. He was not born into luxury. The manger was a place for livestock. This was not an appropriate place to give birth. yet God chose for him to be born there. Jesus, the creator of all, could have created a vehicle, special and one of a kind, for Jesus to ride into town with. Yet he didn't. He had Jesus ride on a donkey into town. It was prophesied that their king would come to us gentle and riding on a donkey. He was explaining the importance of being humble. While others had stallions, elephants, slaves to carry them, Jesus chose the lowly animal of a donkey. This could be compared to modern times. Instead of a Lamborghini or Porsche, driving a Honda. Do we really need to spend all that money on a fancy car to show off to people and prove we are better? That money can go to changing people's lives for the better. God displayed how we should not care for materialistic things and instead be humble and help others. Lastly, Jesus showed no bias to people. He didn't view the poor or the afflicted as less than. Romans 12 verse 16 says, "Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly." A lot of people who live in luxury have that mentality that people who are not on their level are less than them. We should never look down on someone, but show love and compassion for all, no matter their status. That's what Jesus did. He didn't heal just the rich. Hebrews 13 verse 2, "Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some have entertained angels without knowing." You never know if that homeless person you passed was an angel in disguise, testing your heart. Show kindness to all and never view someone as less because of how they dress, the position they have, or their status.
Pride stems from Satan. He wanted to be worshipped like God. He is selfish. Proverbs 11 verse 2 says, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace. But with the humble is wisdom." We saw what happened to Satan when he grew in pride. He was cast out of heaven. Let's not follow in his footsteps. Luke 14 verse 11, "For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted." We see an example of this verse in the story of Esther. Mordecai was a humble Jew that refused to bow to Haman, prime minister of the king. Haman was prideful. He couldn't accept the fact that the Jew wouldn't bow down to him. So he devised a plan to kill him and his people. Mordecai had saved the king's life by advising Esther of a plan to poison him. The king calls on Haman and asks him, "How should I honor a man that truly pleases me?" Haman, assuming the king was talking about him, suggests a lavish display of honor, involving a royal robe, horse, and parade through the city, led by one of the king's noble princes. To his surprise, the king was speaking about Mordecai, his arch nemesis. Haman had to lead Mordecai through the town. Haman exalted himself and was humbled. Mordecai was humble and was exalted. This is a physical representation of that verse. 1 Peter 5 verse 6 says, "Humble yourselves therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time." And James 4 verse 10 says, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up."
In Matthew 19:23 through 24, Jesus said to his disciple, "Truly I tell you, it's hard for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, I tell you, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven." Imagine fitting a camel inside a little needle hole. It's impossible. So why would he say this? Jesus knows when someone is chasing money, fame, and glory, they are exhibiting a selfish attitude. They are partnering with Satan. Just as Satan offered Jesus all the riches of the world, he offers us the same thing. This is why many artists and celebrities claim to have sold their soul to the devil. And they accepted the offer, Jesus declined, only to realize that it was all a lie and a trap because they are still not happy. Many celebrities also die early death by drug overdose or murder. Michael Jackson, Marilyn Monroe, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, Kurt Cobain, Robert Williams, etc., Lil Peep, and Heath Ledger are just a few of the celebrities that met this demise. They may be distracted by the fancy cars, mansions, jets, girls, drugs. It may numb the pain of emptiness for a bit, yet in the end, they all go out the same. It's too late for them to realize that their short life of luxury was traded in and wasted for an eternity in hell. Money in and of itself is not evil. Money can feed the poor, help the sick, and give shelter to the homeless. Yet many will covet their wealth, hoard it for themselves. Matthew 6 verse 24 states, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." Money is not evil as long as you are not worshiping it. The world has us worshiping money, chasing after it, desiring it. This is where we end up in a bad position. We end up putting money before God. 1 Timothy 6 verse 10, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil." Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. We should love God and put Him first, yet many of us love money and fall into iniquity. Luke 12 verse 15 says, "Watch out, be on guard against all kinds of greed, for a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." The love of money turns into greed and corrupts us. Balaam was a prophet of God who was corrupted by the love of money. Balak, the king of Moab, had bribed the prophet with wealth and honor if he would curse the Israelites. Despite God telling Balaam not to do this, his desire for wealth led him to curse them. Judas Iscariot, driven by greed, betrays Jesus for silver coins, just to end up killing himself due to guilt later. King Ahab desired Naboth's vineyard, and since he couldn't purchase it, he devised a plan to murder him so he could obtain it. This shows how greed can take us out of alignment with God's will and cause us to wish death on others for our own gain. Let us follow Jesus and put God first. Philippians 4 verse 19, "And my God will meet all your needs according to His riches and glory in Christ Jesus." Matthew 6 verse 33 encourages us to seek God's kingdom first and trust that He will provide for our needs. God will provide our needs. We just must rely on Him and His will. Thank you for listening to today's message, and I hope it encourages you to live a more humble life and to not strive for things that ultimately won't make you happy. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and do all those things to help out this channel. And I will see you next time.